I can really smell the gorse now. Well, good morning. Welcome to another Explore and Draw podcast. I'm actually in a similar area to my first episode. Because today my prompt is soil, and I really wanted to come back and take a closer look at the soil that had been recently burnt over this last season. Well, the soil hadn't been burnt, but the gorse and the heathland had been burnt. And so I thought I'd come back and see the progress on what's growing in that area. I've made it up now to a more of a plateau area. Last night actually we had really, really heavy rainfall, so you can see that there are pools of water, and it's quite boggy underneath, so this time I have got my proper waterproof shoes on, and they are definitely the better choice for this kind of land. It is also a bit windier, not as windy as it was actually yesterday and the day before. That was really, really strong gusts of wind, which we tend to get. But it's bearable up here, so I'll be able to draw, I think. So I'm just actually looking at the ground as I'm walking at the moment, and I can see there are little signs of life coming up. There are some dog violets that I can see, the little purple flowers. And the curly grass, which actually I found out the proper name, or remembered the proper name. So the proper name for the grass is actually land quillwort. And you can see some of it coming now. It just looks quite different to normal grass. It's a lot thicker, like thicker blades, and then it kind of looks like a crown. It grows in a crown circle, and then it's kind of curly at the edges. So I keep seeing that. Obviously there are also spots of just normal grass. There's a lot of rock as well up here. I think I mentioned that the Lizard Peninsula has a lot of serpentine and granite. So this area definitely has serpentine underneath, and that's what then encourages some of these plants to grow. I guess it changes the content of the soil. So just having a little wander around, really having a look where I might draw today and what I might draw. So yes, the prompt is soil. I had thought originally I would do some ploughed fields. There's a lot of fields, farms and fields being ploughed. But then I thought, actually, what about going up and just having a look at the soil at the top of the cove instead. I'm now coming into an area where you can see a lot of the charred remains of the gorse. I just quite like the way it looks. And then in between the burnt charred, you can now see little yellow blooms, flowers of the gorse, new gorse life. And then you can also see grasses and dog violets, purple dog violets, as well as lots of droppings from ponies. And then obviously you can see the soil as well in areas, a bit of moss. There are some also thistles, or thistle weeds, and then just very coarse grass as well, which kind of ends up in clumps. So they kind of like risen above little mounds of clumps of really rough grass, which you can kind of stand on top of. There's also rocks as well. So this is quite interesting, this spot here. And then in the background, you've got a background of the sea, which at the moment is looking very lovely and bright. There is the sun out today. There is some cloud cover, but mostly some blue sky. And as I said, there's a bit of a wind, so it does feel like things could change. But yeah, the sun is casting some lovely shadows across the burnt gorse. And you can see some really nice contrasts across the soil and then reflecting on the little pools of water. So yeah, it's very wet up here. You can see where the rain has really saturated this area, which is good. It means that there should be, in a few weeks, more life here coming. Big mix of different plants and life happening. There is definitely life happening. Maybe we can't see it, but there is something happening. And there'll probably be evidence of all of that life in the next few weeks. We are at the end of March now. And we'll definitely, as we go into April, start to see more things coming up. And particularly in this area, now that a lot of the gorse has been removed, there'll be space now for new plants, new growth. So I have also brought my foldable stool again. I think I used that last time because it just helps give me a bit of elevation, and also elevation out of the pools of water. It'll be a bit hard to just sit on the ground at the moment because it is so wet and saturated. So I'm just going to look for a little spot to put myself. Oh, there's a lovely crop. A mix of plants, mix of flowers and burnt branches, moss. The sketchbook I've got is Moleskine, and I have actually prepared the paper again with some washes. The washes I've got are actually very neutral, very light brown, a bit of grey. I've taken a picture of them so you can see the before. Thinking I might actually use my fountain pen today. My sailor fountain pen, which I haven't used. I used to use it lots, but kind of moved away. But I like the idea of some dark line work. Maybe my brush pen as well, actually. Got my pencil brush pen here. Should be fun, actually, to give me some rough line work, especially of the burnt gorse branches. Although looks like my pentel brush pen needs a refill, so I'll work with what I can and see how I get on. I have got my lamy pen as well. And that has some ink in it, thankfully. I think this will be nice with the contrast of the plants, the small dog violets and then the little yellow buds of the gorse against the soil and the burnt branches of the gorse. This time I'm really off the beaten track here. There's no path that really runs through where I'm drawing, so the likelihood that I will meet someone here is very, very slim. Unless, of course, they're looking for or exploring. There are a lot of ground nesting birds around here as well. I did disturb a couple on my way in the skylarks, which is why they actually stop the burns from April the 1st. You can hear definitely the birds around here now. I always find when you actually stop somewhere, the birds' sounds suddenly get a bit louder, especially if you've been there for a few minutes. You can still hear, though, some sounds of traffic down below. Hear the seagulls. I love the shapes of the gorse, the burnt gorse, where it looks so withered and sculptural, curved over to one side. See where it's been shaped by the wind and just end up with like the skeleton of it. Yeah, really, really beautiful, even in its dead state. I feel like I'm just drawing, letting my pen go across the page and try not to overthink my lines. And obviously I'm not worrying about being really perfect with the lines as well. I'm just letting them go over the paint that's already there. Okay, I think I'm going to now start putting in some more colour. I'm going to use my new colours. I can hear a bird. Kind of sounds quite odd. Not too good at bird noise identification. Sounds a little bit like a duck. Like a throaty quack. Things can be hidden here very well. so it's very hard to actually see. I'm just using my Neocolour crayons, olive brown. Now that's a surprise, I'm actually seeing some people. I think they're they're walking actually, 3 of them. Actually they're walking, actually there is actually a path, but it's off the beaten track path. So they must know the area quite well. They're probably looking at me thinking, she's sitting right in the middle there. No, I haven't seen any cows. Oh, okay. I haven't seen any. I've come up from that way, so there's been. Yeah, there's none over this way.
All right, thank you.
Sorry. Okay, so they're looking for cows. That's why they are on this path. Looking for their cows. It's quite a large area to actually look for cows. Ooh, I've actually got a purple violet. It's really quickly getting down, just some little glimpses of the colours. Try not to focus too much on detail, because otherwise you kind of get stuck if you just focus on details. Really want to create an impression of the place. What you can see. So I can just see, if I just quickly look, all I can see are greens, browns, yellows, purples, blacks, darks. So I'm hoping that's what I am capturing here. I think because I've got that background, I don't need to do too much. I don't need to overwork it. So often you feel like you need to keep adding more stuff. Just looking for a dark, just to push forward a raw umber. Sometimes that's good. So you get the soil. The soil is meant to be the focus. Okay, I think I'm going to stop, because otherwise I get... No, maybe there's one thing I want to do. Maybe that is to put in just the sea in the background, just to give me that differentiation. So I'm going to try and do that with a Neocolour. We'll see. This is looking incredibly blue just at the moment. I think that worked. The new colour does go over quite a fair few materials. Now I just want to put some shadow on the sea, because the sea itself has darker spots. Even seeing some turquoise on the sea. I like that. It's actually really nice to see again the gorse in the background, with the flowering gorse against that blue sea. Very beautiful. I know I said I was going to finish, and now I'm just keep going. I will finish. I will finish. Okay, let's just call it there. I think it was about 20-25 minutes. Just writing the prompt, the soil, and then burnt gorse and new growth. I'm glad I've got my hat on, because the wind after a while does get to you. It can make you feel pretty cold. So let's just take a picture. Not sure how easily you're going to see this, but we'll try. I'm going to pack up and walk back down. Almost lost my shoe, you can tell it. Got stuck in the mud. That's the shoe of my stool. So it is pretty boggy. But yeah, that was nice just to sit there and sketch. I hope you enjoyed this walk with me. Walk and explore, draw and explore. And I'll speak to you again soon. You can hear a bird of prey up there.